Me? I believe so. And do I believe HBAR does? Absolutely. What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. Ooh, API 3's price is at 589. Hope everybody's doing well today. We're going to kick this video off going over the HBAR price chart of HEDERA HASHGRAPH. We have some exciting news with whales holding QNT or quants. We also have the launch of Flare Networks, big news with Casper, additional XRP news, and let's just get into it. All right, so before diving into some price predictions and talking about the existing trend we see in the market, let's look at some other assets and historical data of assets that have been here before HBAR or have already had their run. So this is something I tweeted a couple weeks back, March 16th, emphasizing the 34 Fibonacci extension. So notice, we have Amazon hitting a full 34. This is part of the Fibonacci sequence. So Fibonacci retracement from the high to the low, reaching a full 34. Dogecoin did it as well. Now technically AVAX or Avalanche also has hit a 34 Fibonacci extension to perfection if you consider this previous all-time high a valid swing high, swing low. But I do believe that AVAX will have much higher price targets in the years to come. Obviously Terra Luna has as well, even using the daily candle body for the swing high, dragging it all the way over. You can see that we actually turned the 34 into support before it went on the next run. We can see a beautiful cup forming. And same thing for Matic. So Polygon, remember, accumulation, and then boom, goes on a breakout. Now notice, whether we use this high or this high, it's really a double top. So I'm just going to use this high, swing low to the most recent low, and then drag all the way over. Have we reached a full 34 Fibonacci extension? Well, and I'll remove this box so you can see it a bit more clearly. From the high to the low, what did we do? Thus far, reaching a full 34, and even back testing right here, wick to perfection, just like Luna did before Luna ran again. Chainlink to no surprise over several years reaching a 34 extension. So, is it safe to assume that assets that do in fact survive, continue to build, have strong volume and strong tokenomics, and maybe a high percentage of the supply staked, could potentially reach a full 34 Fibonacci extension? Me? I believe so. And do I believe HBAR does? Absolutely. Question is, how long will it take? Now to show you the Ethereum price chart and the Bitcoin price chart and lay some early fibs, early days, because my belief is that every altcoin we see in the market today is following or copying some variation of a pattern that we have seen both Ethereum do over the last 5+ years and what Bitcoin has done over the last 10. So using Ethereum's first ever swing high when it was around $3 in 2015 to that low, that wick right there, we're going to drag it all the way over, see if we can find any interesting confluence. And as we can see, we have a double bottom right there. We have that wick right there as a back test and another level right here. Now remember, I showed you Luna doing the same thing, back testing on the 34, going on an additional run. And you can see how well some of these wicks do in fact hit some of these golden extensions. Same thing with the Bitcoin price chart. You can use any of these swing highs and look for additional confluence. Let's actually just use the 2013 high. So watch this, Fibonacci retracement, the high to the low, that bottom wick, even if it could be considered an illiquidity wick, it still looks like a back test to that level. So I'm going to consider it valid and we'll drag it all the way over. So again, let's just show you exactly what I marked up. We have swing high right there. Okay. And then we have the swing low, this wick. Now, what do we see thus far? Well, we can see a clear level, the 34, almost like this market's bottom around that 35K region. Of course, if we zoom in a bit more, we can see candle bodies right on the Fibonacci extension. We have Gala, no matter which high you use. I mean, we could use this previous high, Gala exploded. Even using this high now, from the high to the low, we can see Gala almost reached another 34 Fibonacci extension. Let me draw the old one just so you guys can see. And here's the other level, from the high to the low, absolutely took off. Beautiful bull flag, went on another run. And what do we have? The 34 Fibonacci extension, 1, 2, 3, triple bottom before taking off again. So I'm not only showing you several examples of assets reaching a full 34, but actually using it as support before it goes even higher. And I mean, my best assumption would be just like the Fibonacci sequence is, what is it, like 1, 3, 5, 8, 13. You can actually lay these numbers on and go even above 34, and you could probably gauge those next targets as well. QNT as well, from the high to the low, not quite the 34, but pretty close, just shy of it. Do I believe it gets there? Yes, absolutely. You can see Solana Sol right here as well, from the swing high to the low, reaching a full 34, back test for support, went above, fell below, now it turned into resistance right there, rejected. We'll see if we can break through the second time. And not financial advice, guys. Solana's probably here to stay, but I'm just much more interested in assets that are maybe down here or down here that have yet to really have these parabolic returns. If you're holding Sol, I wish you well. You know, another 5x or anything like that's possible. But for me, from this high to this high, I mean, we have gone up 23,000%. And that's really just in a year. So I'm going to be looking at other opportunity and other assets that might have a higher ROI in a smaller market cap. And if you're a Solana guy, I wish you well. Now let's look at Ultra as well, just another example. And this is an asset that is in the definition of a trend. I mean, you can just, draw any type of line here. You can clearly see an ascending channel making it all the way up slowly but surely. Now this is where it gets subjective. Where should we draw the swing high for the Fibonacci retracement here? Because this asset has just been up, up, up. Now, I guess I'll just draw it right here. So from the high to the low, drag it all the way over. We're just using that bottom wick. And where are we today? Funny enough, the 34 Fibonacci extension. I actually didn't try that before recording this, so I just wanted to show you that in real time. So another example of an asset that is very legitimate, sound fundamentals in the gaming space or the metaverse space, UOS, and has reached a full 34. And from March 2020's low all the way to its most recent all-time high, that's about an 87x. 87x return. $1,000 becomes $87,000. And this will be the last chart before we dive into HBAR, so I just wanted to show you plenty of examples. So HNT or helium, let's actually just use this high, candle bodies, to the low, drag it over. Yes, we reached a 34. Let's actually use this crazy high wick just for fun to see where we're at. Okay, so kind of just creating support on the 8s. But nonetheless, we have in fact reached a full 34 with HNT as well. My negative Fibonacci extensions actually show the level right there and there, a perfect double bottom. So now we're back on the HBAR price chart on the 3-day time frame. Now, we can either be super conservative and look at some of these highs to the low, drag it over, see where we're at, or we can be a bit more bullish and use the all-time high price to the all-time low and drag it over and see how we measure up. So what we'll do first is we're just going to do a top-down analysis and start on the larger time frame. So from the high to the low, drag it all the way over, and where are we sitting today to perfection? Let's measure this out. Where are we? Right on the 702 Fibonacci retracement. Thus far, from the high to the low, we have almost hit the 1618, came back down, and other assets in the past have shown us a full 4.236. So what would that price be? From today's price at 25 cents, if we did climb there in the future to a 4.236, that's a 500% move up to $1.50 per HBAR. Now, I know there's going to be some guys in the comments saying, Kevin, but market cap. Guys, HBAR is a behemoth backed by Google, IBM, some of the biggest organizations, one of the first enterprise DAOs. I'm not really worried about market cap. We know staking's coming, and I'm hoping that there's a huge portion of HBAR that is staked, and I believe it will be because it's a very strong network that can actually reduce the circulating supply and make it easier to reach some of these higher prices. So today shows us at the 702. The typical 4.236 shows about $1.50. Now remember, I just showed you well over 5 examples of assets reaching a 34 extension. What are those targets for HBAR? $12. Could HBAR in the years ahead potentially reach $10? Yes, absolutely. Anything is possible, but let's cross the bridge when we get to it and just watch this slowly following this ascending channel. Remember, from this high, we are in this range for almost a full year, 345 days. And then what happened from that low? We exploded about 1,400% up, technically using that high, almost 2,000%. Now, since HBAR's all-time high price, around 57, 58 cents, hitting perfectly that 1618 right there, how many days have we been in this zone? Almost 200 days. So we are getting close. So if you guys want me to read some of these levels, just basic Fibonacci numbers, and they'll overlap if I draw even smaller fibs because they're all a sequence, they're all just the same ratio. We can see 1618 is the all-time high price, about 58 cents. The 4.236 is $1.50. The 8 Fibonacci extension is just under $3, so $2.80. We have about $4.60, $7.50, and $12. Now let's look at the super conservative look and see how we are measuring up. And remember guys, I just showed you a few examples of multiple cups, higher highs year over year, reaching these higher targets. So now let's just be super conservative, swing high, swing low, drag it over, and how are we measuring up? And let's look at some way more conservative or realistic targets. And keep in mind, I mean, with the rise of NFTcom, we have Jordan Freed right here, the CEO of Immutable Holdings. NFTcom is a domain that is owned, and I believe it will be running on HEDERA. Now, why do I believe that? Well, first off, this gentleman right here, founding team member and SVP of HEDERA HASHGRAPH. We also know Kevin O'Leary is involved. NFTcom is setting the standard for what we should expect from Web 3.0. I'm proud to be involved with a team that is laser focused on creating value for the NFT space. So Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Shark Tank, is involved as well. So I'm sure that he'll be marketing it and doing everything in his power to get some eyes on HBAR. Of course, on HEDERA.com, you can go through some of the biggest banks. Many of them actually are Ripple partner as well. We have Deutsche Telekom, DBS, Boeing, Google, FIS, Standard, Tata, IBM, etc. So huge, huge organizations backing this enterprise DAO. So now if we're going to be conservative, we're just using this swing high and we're using this swing low. Taking off from the 236, we've seen many assets do that, and then it actually reached a full 4.236. So beautiful, reaching that range. Now, seems like we're challenging it again, sitting on the 3618 at 25 cents today. And remember guys, we did in fact close that wick. Okay Kevin, well what are those conservative extensions? As we can see, about 55 cents, close to the all-time high of those candle bodies on the 3-day price chart. We also have 87 cents, so just under $1. $1 is going to be a huge psychological level. We also have $1.40, and then the 34 at about $2.25. And the last thing I want to cover is HBAR today on coinmarketcap.com is ranked 35. Market cap is just under $5 billion. Now notice we have about 39% of the total supply in circulation. What I want to see is when staking goes live, I want to see over half of this amount, at the very least, 50% plus of all circulating supply being staked. That's what I want to see. So what would HBAR's price be if it were simply in the top 10 today with the market cap of crypto at 2.1 trillion? Keep in mind the altcoin market is not at its all-time high price. The market is down since the most recent high. We've crashed big time since then. So if we were simply to go HBAR from rank 35 into the top 10 for AVAX, from a $5 billion market cap to a $26 billion market cap, the price of HBAR would be about $1.30, a 5x return from here. And that is not considering the growth of the market. Yes, I believe the crypto market gets back to $3 trillion and eventually to 5 to 7 plus. I would look at the total charts of market cap excluding Bitcoin, looking at the altcoin market and actually drawing some fib levels and drawing an ascending channel up there. That way you can gauge those future targets in the years ahead for 5, 10, 15 trillion dollars in market cap. And we're at a $2 trillion market cap for all of crypto today. Now looking in the top 10 for anybody new, we can see a lot of assets, whether it's 20 billion, we can see almost 40 billion, 40 billion for XRP. I believe that a lot of these alts, as this market grows, are going to have market caps in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Like Ethereum today is almost $500 billion, 400 billion. Bitcoin is nearing $1 trillion yet again at 900 billion. So if Bitcoin grows, Ethereum grows, the entire altcoin market grows, yes, I assume that many alts will have hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap, those that provide utility, and potentially even multiple trillion-dollar market caps. Ethereum alone has a larger market capitalization than some of the largest banks in the world. Guys, I did it again, so I'm going to break this video up now, and in the next video, we're going to discuss the launch of Flare Networks, what this means for XRP, some additional news with QNT whales, which is absolutely fascinating. If you learned anything at all, be sure to like and sub. I'll catch you in the next one.